Hey guys, this is Nick from ForexForNoobs.com with the weekly analysis. Today is Monday, the 9th of April 2018, and the time is 18:10 here in the UK. You're looking at we're going to switch to it, an AUD/JPY daily chart. In today's analysis, we're going to be looking for all kinds of trade setups, reversals, continuations, range-bound trade, all kinds of setups, just price action setups. We're going to be looking for price action trades across most of these pairs. Not all of them, but most of these pairs. Well, probably all of them. Anyway, doesn't matter. We'll just see how we get on with that. So, let's get started with the analysis. What's going on with AUD/JPY right now? AUD/JPY is up at resistance. It looked like it wanted to go down at the end of the last week. But this week opened up and it shot back up straight away. Anyone short on this? This is very similar to my failed trade. Oh, what was that? Was that GBP/JPY? Can't even remember what trade I took last week. I only took one trade last week. Didn't work out. I think it was GBP/JPY. Like I said, guys, before the webinar started, I am very, very tired today, so I can't. All right, it was. Thanks. Thank you for reminding me the trade that I took. But yeah, this trade obviously didn't work out. Looked really good to start with, but it just went boom, straight up. Happens. AUD/JPY, very similar. It was like it was forming at the same time. I don't think it quite triggered at the same time, but it was forming at the same time, and it was relying on that same thing really. It was going to go down. It was a JPY pair. We were looking for it to push down, but in the end, we got some JPY weakness instead of strength, and it's started to turn around and go up. GBP/JPY went up much further than the others. I think the other one was New Zealand JPY. We were looking at that one too as a potential. But out of those three, I picked GBP/JPY. But yeah, obviously none of them worked out. But that happens sometimes. That's just the reality of trading. You can't win them all. So yeah, AUD/JPY. Let's summarize what's going on right now. This one hasn't pushed up as much as all the others, but we are seeing some signs of JPY weakness. I would not want to enter anything here right now. It could very well still go down, but I just don't really feel that confident with entering a short trade on here. The short trade would be one of the possibilities, because that would be a sort of continuation reversal. So the overall trend is down. This would be a continuation of that bearish trend, but it's just not looking too good right now. The entry would have been last week on Friday, and yeah, since then it hasn't really moved down. So AUD/JPY not going to do anything. Well, I mean, the pair could do something. I just mean I'm not going to do anything with that pair. Righto, AUD New Zealand. What's going on with that? That's pushing down. It's getting through this support area. Why is this support area so thin? Doesn't really matter. It just looks weird. Now it's too thick. Now it's slanted. Okay, let's try and get this right. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. It's just yeah, I'm gonna place it there. Now this one's too thick. I hate it when my support resistance areas aren't a uniform size. You don't even need that shaded area around it. I just like it because it looks better, but then sometimes they're just, like, after a while of you placing them and moving them and adjusting them, they all end up being different widths and or heights, whatever you want to call it. They all end up being different heights, and it just looks so weird. Anyway, I'm going to stop complaining. AUD New Zealand, what's going on with this? I mean, it's broken straight through this support area. Well, not straight through. It did stall there for around 3 candles. So it's eventually broken through. It looks like it's making new lows. I mean, there is potential for a trade here, maybe in the coming days, if it drops down, comes back up, and then we see a little continuation. But yeah, right now there's nothing really happening there. AUD USD is stalling on top of this support area. This pretty strong bearish trend has been possibly stopped here. I mean, it's been stalling here for quite some time now. All the way through here. So this general area here, it's just struggled to get through that area. So let's see what it does. I mean, it could come up to here and crash back down, or it could just pierce straight through there. We can't really tell right now, of course, so you can't enter a trade right now, but something like this presents us with a lot of different potential scenarios. So one of the scenarios could be price pushes up to this resistance area and falls away. That would be cool, because that might give us a nice reversal trade in line with the overall trend. Another scenario could be that it just breaks straight through that resistance area, but then we could potentially get in for a long trade like that. Even though it would be counter trend, there's always that possibility. You know, there's also the other potential that it could just go boom and smash straight through that without ever going back up here. Then we could potentially get into a short trade like that. There's a lot of possibilities, a lot of potential setups that can occur here. But right now there's nothing. So let's just keep a close eye on AUD/USD and see how it plays out. It's in a nice zone right now, especially a zone where we could potentially see a range forming. And those range-bound trades are usually the easiest to take. So let's keep a close eye on it and just see how it develops. EURJPY. EURJPY is trending up. It's hit support, started moving up again. If you're not long on this, it's way too late to get in because it's already moved up. So next, EURCAD. EURCAD looks like it's turning around, starting to move down. I'm going to adjust this area up here a little bit. I think that's better up there. I mean, yeah, there's no real setups here, guys. EURJPY. EURJPY is stalling on top of the support area. Looks like it might actually be potentially breaking through the support area, but not quite yet. I mean, this current candle, this daily candle, is a clear indication that price is struggling to get through this area. But there's also the other side of things that we are seeing lower lows pretty consistently now for the last, well, I guess the last two candles, so not that consistently. But we are seeing lower lows, so, you know, there's two sides to this story, I guess you would call it. It looks like it might eventually work its way through, which would give us a nice, potentially a nice continuation setup. But again, right now, nothing's happening there, so we can't do much with it. EURJPY. I was looking at this one earlier today. One of the members, Forex Mastermind members, messaged me on Skype about this one. This actually looks quite good, guys. This one has some serious potential. So we got this resistance area up here. It's a strong resistance area, this one here. Just let me highlight it. This is the 13200 level, so it doubles as a psychological level. Strong resistance area. It's held price back recently. Minor one here too. It's held price back recently. It's a good resistance area, and it coincides with the 200 SMA. 200 SMA is just what I use it for is a moving support resistance area. So I don't actually use it to enter trades. It's just a kind of a extra. So when the 200 SMA lines up with a strong resistance area or a strong support area, it's just extra resistance or extra support. So what we're seeing here is price pushing up into a strong resistance area with the extra resistance provided by the 200 SMA. So I am looking for trade setups here. I'm looking to take a short here at some point. It looks like it has potential. It's looking pretty decent. Ideally, what I would want to see would be price pushing up closer by the end of the day and closing up here. It's already made an attempt to get through this resistance area, but it's pulling back. So I want to see price close up here, and I want to see price stall here. That would be the ideal situation. But there's also other potential setups that we can trade here. Point is, I'm looking for shorts from here. Right now, there's no clear setup, but I'm definitely looking for shorts from this area. It's a strong resistance point. EURJPY is turning around from support. This is stuck in a range, and this is just a classic kind of range-bound trading opportunity. So when price is stuck in a range, it just does this kind of stuff. And right now, it's reversing. Now, if you haven't entered, it's too late to enter, obviously. Is anyone in this? I guess the ideal entry was on the 12-hour. Sammy, you're in. Nice. Anyone else? OP, that sucks, man. Anthony is in. So a few of you are in. Not many people are talking today. But if 2 of you are in, I'm assuming that more than two of you are in. At least I hope so, because it's looking pretty good. Looks like a solid setup. Like I said, it's a range-bound setup. But, you know, if you're not in, it's a bit too late to enter, so we won't really spend too much time on it. But yeah, these range-bound setups are generally pretty nice and pretty predictable, really. Once it gets to the bottom of the range, it pushes back up to the top, then it pushes back down to the bottom, so on and so forth. So that's what we're seeing with EURJPY right now. That's a nice long trade, guys. Good work. GBP/AUD, what's going on with this one? GBP/AUD is bouncing from resistance. It's already tried to bounce from this resistance area. My support resistance on this pair is a bit messy. Oh yeah, because we don't have much data. Now I remember. Yeah, it's hard to place good support resistance on this pair. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to place one here for now. Looks like price bounced from there recently. There's no clear setup here at the moment, so let's go on to JPY. The pair that gave me a losing trade last week. Nothing much happening. It's just trading up, isn't it? Yeah. I'm trying to think if there could be any potential setup here, and the only scenario I really see is it potentially dipping down and then continuing up. It's done that recently. I mean, on its way up, it's been not been a clear run up this trend. This has been a very messy trend. It keeps dipping down to support and coming back up. So we could see something like that. That might be a potential setup, but right now it's obviously not doing anything. So GBP/USD is just pushing up to this support area up here, but yeah, there's nothing really much going on there, guys. New Zealand Jpy has started potentially turning around. I mean, it's pushing up right now, making some new highs, but do keep in mind that when you look to the left, it's not broken these previous highs. So I wouldn't really call this downtrend over yet, but it does look like it might be over soon. Regardless, there's no setups. New Zealand USD is looking to be on its way up. I'm really interested to see what happens if New Zealand USD manages to get up to this resistance area. That would give us some potential setups. I'd be looking for a short trade from this area. Pretty strong resistance area. It's held twice already. A lot of traders see things opposite to me. If a resistance area or a support area has held price back twice, then they'll say, well, that resistance area is no longer valid. I'm going to stop trading it. I see things differently. I think that once price has been held back twice, it's an established strong resistance area, and more sell orders get placed at that resistance area. I mean, there's just an example of it down here, isn't there? A support area that's held arguably 5 times. I say arguably because this is kind of like, it's hard to say that this was 2 times. So let's say it's held price back 4 times. So it wouldn't be much for this more significant resistance area to hold price back 3 times. So I'm going to be looking for a short from up here, but obviously it's not there right now. So much like most of the other pairs today, we're just going to have to wait and see. USDCAD's trending down pretty heavily. I do like seeing stuff like this. These nice long trends tend to give us some awesome continuation setups. I'm going to be looking for continuation setup from here. Potentially something like that. That sort of bounce would be great. There's a lot of opportunities here, but again, much like everything else, right now it's just sitting on support, so we can't really take a trade right now. One thing to note is that this is a relatively strong support area, so I will also be looking for indecision to form on this area. So this would be the opposite scenario. Perhaps instead of seeing a continuation of this bearish, this newly forming bearish trend, this bearish trend might die, and we might see a continuation of this previous bullish trend. See, that's the thing about trends. Trends, they're always hard to predict, because if you imagine how this could turn out over the coming year, price might go like that, and then it might go like this. It might push up like that, and then it'll look like, when you draw a line across here, a pretty clear bullish trend line, right? So that could totally happen. Just because this is starting to slope downwards, it doesn't mean that a bearish trend has officially started. It could be, but it could also just be a dip back down before it continues up and then continues up. So I like to keep myself open to both potential scenarios. If it starts going down, if it breaks my support area, and I get a setup that would indicate a bearish continuation, I will trade that. But if price stalls out completely on this support area and looks like it just can't move further down at all, I'll be open to taking a bullish trade. So I find it's always best to keep yourself open to both potential scenarios, and don't marry yourself to one thing. Never look at a chart and say, well, I'm 100% or I'm sure that this is going to happen, because you're never really sure in the end. So let's see what happens with USDCAD. I'm going to move it to the top of the list. We don't have much else so far this week. We got EURJPY, USDCAD sitting on support, so that could give us something. I'm not too optimistic that we're going to see a setup here, but it could happen. You never know. That sounds the opposite to optimistic. There is a pretty decent chance of us seeing a setup here. We're just got to see what happens by the end of the day, and possibly what happens tomorrow. USDCHF. USDCHF hit that 200 SMA and pulled back straight away. This pair is definitely starting to trend up. It's a pretty decent trend. We could potentially get in for a continuation. It's stalling here right now. Let's see what happens over the next day. I want to see what happens with this candle, but even potentially the next one. It is, like I said, trending up, and we've seen this pattern in this trend already, where price pulls back, especially to the support areas. See what I mean? Pulls back. So we could just be seeing a continuation of that overall pattern. That would be great for us. So I'm going to keep a close eye on this support area for USDCHF. USDJPY is just pushing up to resistance. Nothing much going on here, guys. There's no potential setups here. Let's take a quick look at silver. Silver is trapped in this range, but it seems like this range is kind of getting weaker and weaker, and it's starting to slope downwards. So yeah, I don't really see much happening here right now, guys. Silver is off the charts. Gold, similar-ish to silver. It was in a range, but now it's just kind of pretty messy, so we can't really do much with that. Well, I think that wraps it up for the analysis, guys. EURJPY, USDCAD, and USDCHF. Just a quick overview on them. EURJPY we're looking for a potential short. This is a pretty strong resistance area. It's backed up by the 200 SMA, which is kind of just like a bonus. 200 SMA is always nice to have as a bonus or just as backup for strong support resistance areas. So we got strong resistance, 200 SMA. We could be looking for a continuation from here. USDCAD, many potential scenarios. We could be looking for a reversal from here, or if it breaks below, we could be looking for a continuation. So let's keep a close eye on that. And USDCHF, it is trending up, so I'd be looking for a continuation from here, ideally. Thanks for watching the analysis. I hope it was useful. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button below. In case you missed it, Forex Mastermind, my online training course and forum, is now open for enrollment for a few days. Check it out by clicking the link below this video. Also, for instant notifications when I post analysis or other cool videos, subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button below. Once the setups I share in this analysis trigger, I post live updates as I manage the trade, such as my entry, exit, stop, and when to get out of the trade. For these updates, add me on Facebook or Twitter by clicking the buttons below. I'll see you in the next video.